I'm going to look at the current day's price action so far. It's now 11 o'clock and I'm going to try to gain some knowledge of what has happened so far for the day. For the day, we opened here at 5 o'clock, and as expected, between 5 and the first several hours, we weren't getting much of direction on which way price will go, and there was a lot of confusion within it, whether it's going up or it's going down. But if we go further back and we see the price behavior from yesterday, we same thing happened at the open, and then eventually it chose a side, and it chose a side that it wants to move up. So price yesterday had started to move up from 2 o'clock in the morning, and it continued its way up all the way until it found its high at 12 o'clock in the day. Um, and one other thing too is the orange boxes here is the open for the day, and you can see that price went up to the went above the open and then started to build value above it and close above it, and you could see at 5 o'clock and 4 o'clock, um, 4, 5, and 6, it tests the open, and from there it takes off, and we have a sharp move to the upside. So now for today, we actually go up, and we trade above the high from yesterday during the 4 o'clock hour, but then from there we begin to move down, and we go below the open, and we go right down to yesterday's value area low. Now, um, was some of this available to me? Well, let's see. The break of the open, yes, because um, we go up at 4 o'clock, and when we start to move down, we do not see continuation. In fact, the 5 o'clock bar closes on the low. Um, so therefore, when you see that, then the expectation would be look for price to come down to the value area low that's developing, or come down and test the low from this move up, which started right here, or at the very least come out and test the low from for the overnight session, which also happens to be the open. So we've got some areas here where we can think that um, price should come down to it, and then when it gets there, we have to pay attention on what to do. So when it got there, Nazar, what happened was we one time frame to it. These are 1 hour profiles, so we one time frame to it, and then the bar preceding it, which is the 6 a.m. bar, we close on the lows. Similarly, on the 5 o'clock bar, we close on the lows. So you have two bars consecutively that close on the lows. It suggests that this move is strong to the downside, and you're not getting any pushback from the buyers. So then we close um, the 7 o'clock bar inside of yesterday's value. 8 o'clock bar, we go up and we test the VWAP, the developing VWAP, which now is stair stepping down, and it's red. And then we test that, and it holds nicely as resistance. Sellers come in, and then they move price further down. We put in new lows for the day inside of yesterday's value. The 9 o'clock bar, we then close just below yesterday's open, and then the 9 o'clock bar just drops away and goes in one direction from the value area high of yesterday right down to the value area low for today, of yesterday. And that's so far, that's the low for today. Um, then now in the 10 o'clock bar, we saw an inside bar. So now the 9 o'clock bar, we close up from the low. We close, in fact, we close 12 pips up, and then on the 9 o'clock bar is the 10 o'clock bar is an inside bar. We had these thin volume area, these gaps that came back and got filled in during the 10 o'clock hour. And now and in the 10 o'clock hour, we actually close up and we close further away from the yesterday's value area low. So now, right now, we are trading at the developing value area low. And what I would like to do now is, because we're trading below yesterday's open, I would like to get into a short trade, um, and target back down to the lows. Now that those lows may come today or they may come tomorrow on tomorrow's trading day. But what I want to look for is an ideal entry to trade to the short side, and potentially right now we're looking at the value area low. But if we get into the value area low, it potentially could come up uh, higher, up into this shelf here, and then if that gets accepted, then you potentially, if it gets up to the half standard deviation, that's where I want to take a short, and my stop will go on the other side of the open, a close on the 1 hour bar on the other side of the open. What does that look like on the in the London session? Right now we can see we're getting we've had one, two, and now a third bar go back into the developing value area for the London session, and we seem to be trading, we finding some resistance um, uh, at the yesterday's VWAP. So if we get into this bar, it starts to close inside here, and we start to get acceptance, and look for it to come up to the VWAP, which is 12778, which is also around here 127 12 1272. So I think this is what the play I'm going to wait for. I'm going to watch for price to come to the VWAP on the as close to the VWAP as possible on the London uh, developing VWAP for the day, and then also I want to look for the half standard deviation from today. One other thing, let me look at the 4 hour bar. So the 4 hour bar, we had skipped up here yesterday. Um, Let me bring this higher. We had skipped up here yesterday on the 9 o'clock bar, and we had left in all these thin volume area, and then from the 1 o'clock up to the 1 p.m. up to the 1 a.m. 4 hour bars, we had this area get filled up, and then we we don't get overlapping value too much. We had value shifting down here. We had value overlap between the 5 p.m. and 9 p.m. bar, and then the 1 a.m. bar we skip up, and we close closer to the highs. We close up, but then the next bar just drops away, and we talked about that on the 1 hour thing, and we know that the trend is to the downside when you look at the daily. So this would have been a good area to take short trades on the highs of the day, because we are trading to the downside, and um, we have that strong move from Friday. We're expecting a balance potentially for the rest of the week. I think we should probably end up balancing. Um, but right now, yeah, we are getting up there. We're getting deeper into the value area for the London session, and we potentially may come in and fill in this area here. So again, 12,700. I think that's the number that I want to get to. If I bring in this is the open, and 12,700, yeah, 12,788 I think was another number I had. So I'm gonna look to take a trade off of the open level of the day. Stop and leave it at that.